Welcome back to Wisdom with the Wise Counselor. I'm your host, the Wise Counselor. If you didn't know, some people know me by my birth name. It's Lateef. This podcast is all about building your emotional resiliency, reclaiming your authority, and learning how to live your life on purpose and in purpose. Now, today, I want to do something just a little different. This episode, I'm going to call Motivational Moments. These are short reflections pulled straight from my real life in the last couple of days, ordinary experiences that carry extraordinary lessons if we slow down enough to notice. So that is the purpose of this podcast. It's just a reminder that inspiration, motivation, clarity is around us each and every day. We have to be intentional about pausing, recognizing those moments, honoring those moments, and then figuring out how we're going to apply that experience, that exposure, that moment to our lives to grow, to get better. Okay, so the first moment that I want to jump into, I'm going to call this the power of influence. The other day, I was in the store and watched a young boy run to the refrigerator section. He grabbed one of those fun lunch packs, those Lunchables with nuggets and surprises in them. Now, I know everybody know about a little Lunchable. I don't know about you, but I was one of those kids that was known to have that one or two times in my lunch back in elementary school. And I'm just so grateful that they've evolved and they're trying to make those more healthy. But I digress, So he ran over to the refrigerator section where I was at, and he was like, "Oh my God, look at this one. I've seen this. I wanted this so bad." And his mom was right behind him, and she was like, "Oh wow, I've never seen that before." But that boy looked at her and said something that stopped me cold in my tracks. He said, "Oh, I knew about this. I saw it on YouTube." And I was like, whoa. Now, that made me pause for a moment because a 6 or 7 year old, he was no older than that, had already beat his mother in knowing something through YouTube, right? Not because she taught him, not because of school, but because of what he had consumed on social media. Now, you know me. I love me some social media. Come on now. My real world work is in school communications and storytelling, right? But I had to pause for a moment because it made me think about the importance of influence, right? Family, I want you to hear this. Influence is all around us. It's everywhere. Every scroll, every video, every conversation, whether we admit it or not, it shapes the way we think, the way we feel, the way we move. And mature adults might filter through that noise, right? Through, especially right now, all of these AI videos that are coming out and people are really thinking that this stuff is real. Mature people can filter through that nonsense and the noise. But someone who is still growing in their emotional maturity, they can be swept right on up in it. Now, I'm not making a Lunchable that a kid found out about through YouTube, this big old mountain. But what I am saying is it was shocking that he was aware of kind of a worldly movement and his mom had no idea. And again, this is a 6 or 7 year old. So the takeaway from this moment was protect your gates. Whether you're a parent or not, you've got to guard your mind, your body, and your spirit. And remember that influence is powerful, but so is discernment. So you've got to ask yourself, who or what is really shaping me right now as a fully functioning, high functioning, healthy adult? What is shaping you right now? Because I'm telling you, influence is everywhere, whether we pause and recognize it or not. All right, moment number 2. I'm going to call this one, dust yourself off and try again. I love this one because really, as I was thinking about it, I love that song by Aaliyah. She simply was speaking truth back when she was alive. She said, if at first you don't succeed, succeed. Hey, dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again. So I love that. And this was a simple one, but it's powerful. If you don't succeed at first, you must find the strength to get up and dust yourself off and try again. I don't care if you are 5 years old, 15 years old, 50 years old, or 100. If you are working to do things in life that are meaningful and that are going to stretch your skills and help you grow, you've got to remember that failure may be a part of that journey. See, we're human. We're not a machine. We are not built to be perfect. We are built to process and for the process. And that process has to include failure. Success is not a straight line. And I know you've heard that before. I want you to remember that it is okay for it to be messy. If failing flat is a part of the destination to be successful, then I want you to hear this and hear this clearly. It is okay to fail. And then you have to remember, you have to have the strength, the grit, and the resiliency to decide to rise up again. See, too many of us live lives frustrated because we make no room in our plans to make a mistake. And I'm telling you, working with kids each and every day, I see the devastation on kids' faces when they can't get something or something doesn't go their way. And that is a generational thing. You know, I don't want to digress into this too much, but unfortunately, the way that we have parented our children and this younger generation, we've covered them and been helicopters and protect them that a kid can't even get a stub his toe without us taking him to the emergency room. You know, and I'm not being, I'm being funny here, but I'm not being funny at the same time. We have conditioned our kids that any move that they make that doesn't align with success, we're going to swoop in and make it right. And not tomorrow, but in that moment. And I'm telling you, that has deteriorated some of the resiliency of young children. Listen, I see it every day. Don't deny, I can't deny it. And anybody who tries to fight me on that point, they are delusional and are not working with children each and every day. This is just the evolution of how youth have been raised. So I just want to be real about that. So let me get back to the point. Don't let failure make you bitter. Let it make you stronger, because every time you rise, you prove to yourself that you've got what it takes. So I love that moment. The next moment I'm going to call Don't Get Stuck in Routine. Now, let's talk about it. Just because something has always been done one way, baby, it doesn't mean it's the best way. See, we are creatures of habit. We like what we know, and we love to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But hear me. Sometimes it's not broken, but it does need refreshing. Come on now. Are you with me? Did you hear me? Come on. Even though it may not be broken, it still may need a refresh or a refreshing. Come on. Even the best systems have to hold space and honor the need to evolve and to pivot. Routine can be good, but routine without vision becomes a trap. Ooh, that's so good. What did I just say? Routine can be good, but routine without a vision becomes a trap. Don't get comfortable that you never hold space to be innovative, that you never want to stretch yourself, that you never want to refresh what you are doing. And that's career-wise, personally, where you serve, at your church, whatever, in any place that you have some type of influence. Don't get too comfortable that you don't give yourself permission to try new things, to step out of old patterns, and to breathe new life into what you're doing. I'm telling you, get comfortable knowing that just because it's good and it's made it and it's meeting the needs currently, don't get comfortable and stuck in that moment. You have to be willing to try new things. And growth requires creativity, right? Don't let routine and what you know and what you've done time and time again rob you of moving up to the next level. So the moment number 4 I want to talk about is, I'll call it the bus stop. Now, I was riding home the other day, and I saw a young man waiting at the bus stop. He was probably 13, 14. And it took me back to my teenage years. And it made me stop and think for a moment. I used to be embarrassed to wait at the bus stop when I was around his age. I felt like the whole world was watching me and judging me. And I can still remember that. I used to time it so I didn't have to stand at a city bus stop for longer than a couple minutes. But truthfully, as I look back now, it made me think it wasn't about the bus. It was about me not being comfortable in my own skin. See, I may show up as outgoing when I need to, and I have to do that in my job. And, I'm forward-facing customer service and with the people and building community each and every day. But at my core, I'm an introvert. And I know people laugh at me and gawk like, what? Lateef, get real. And I'm like, no. I am truly an introvert. What I have done and have done since I started working back at Kroger's when I was 14 is I know how to play a role. Come on. I know how to put a face on. I know how to be professional. And it just happens to be that the jobs and the careers that I have landed in actually require that skill set. Baby, don't nobody want to hear about your problems. In education, you're there to help people. When I was a guest services manager, people didn't want to hear about how I thought about them, what I thought about them. They wanted their issues resolved. When I was a collegiate advisor, people weren't here to hear about my journey and my testimony. They came in to get credits checked, get connected with campus services. And you know what I did? I did that with a smile, right? I even worked for a time at IHOP and I hated it. But you would never know it because I've mastered how to be forward facing and I've mastered what good, pleasurable customer service looks like. But don't be fooled. I am an introvert. So I'm coming back to saying that when I looked at that young man, it threw me back to why I used to be quote unquote embarrassed at the bus stop. It's because I don't like to be all up in front of people, right? Even though my energy screams, look at me, at my core, baby, you better know me. I'm the kind of person that will go home. I love being alone and researching and watching videos and quiet. I love my solitude and my moments where I can be to myself. I love stillness. And for years, I struggled with the pressure to always perform and be on, even in my personal life, right? Because when you do something for so long, you end up kind of onboarding that, if you will, in other areas of your life. But here's the wisdom I want you to know. When you close the door at night, I had me a moment right there. When you close your door at night and you say goodbye to the day, you don't owe anybody an explanation about who you really are. Regardless of what your job is, regardless of what other people think, you must protect your peace. You must honor your recharge. And you only get one you, right? If you don't love and care for that person, even if you're married or got a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a live-in person, you might have kids and animals. I don't know what your situation is. But if you don't love and care for you, You'll burn yourself trying to show up for everybody else, right? So I guess the moment the thing I want you to hear from this moment is breathe. Protect your stillness. Protect whatever it is that you need to recharge and get into you, right? That's not selfish. It's survival. So if you're an introvert and you're in a forward-facing job that requires you to be outgoing, protect your peace and know that it is okay to want to live in the shadows. It really is. So my last moment, I'm going to call this the hill and the bike. There's a man in my neighborhood who's been riding his bike up and down this huge hill. Now, you don't know where I live, but I live on a very high point on this side of town in Cincinnati, to the point where I live so high I can actually see the airport, a regional airport from my windows because I'm so high up. So this guy used to ride this bike, or still rides the bike, and he started it back in the spring. And I used to see him riding up to our community. And early on, I noticed how much he used to struggle to get up the hill. Now, again, I'm on a very, very steep hill. It's probably about a quarter of a mile long. And even cars have to rev and really push that gas to climb up the hill. That's a car with a motor, But today, I saw him. As I turned the corner, I saw him because it's a straight shot up. Even though it's steep, I can see hundreds of feet ahead. And I noticed that he was flying up the hill with ease today. And man, oh man, it just got me because I was like, a little under 6 months ago, this guy didn't look like he could even go 200 feet up this hill. And to the point where, again, I was riding behind him sometimes and I would see him have to hop off the bike, and then he would be walking up the hill and I would see him on my rearview mirror and I'd be like, oh, I guess he just didn't make it this time. And today, it was the moment that seemed like it was impossible. You know, he was up that hill and doing the thing. And actually, when I turned the corner, I noticed him. And I actually slowed down and really started creeping up the hill myself, throwing my transmission all in a tizzy because, again, you got to rev it to get up the hill. But I wanted to honor him today. I don't even know this man from Joe Schmo. But I sat there and creeped up the hill and watched him get up that hill. And I'm telling you, it was a magical moment for me to see. And I'm not about to get emotional about this, but it just reminded me of the power of motivation, the power of hard work, the power of consistency and sticking with it, whatever it is, right? So now, to me, again, what looked to be impossible before has become his new normal. This is what I know. The hill didn't get smaller. This gentleman has gotten stronger. Right? And family, that's the message I want you to hear from this moment. Growth takes time. Did you hear me? Growth takes time. Your goals take time, right? Anything that is meaningful, especially meaningful or helpful to other people, needs to be sustainable, which means it has to have a history, right? And history means it takes time to develop credibility, strength, momentum, whatever the case may be. It takes time. Hear this, family. Don't quit when things feel slow. Anything worth having, again, it takes time to build. Flash success. Flashy success. It is cute, right? But true strength is built brick by brick, minute by minute, day by day. So suck that message and that moment in, because I'm not sure what you may be facing today. I'm not sure what you are beginning to throw the towel in, or I'm not sure what you have already thrown the towel in and just gave up on. But I'm here to tell you, you can do whatever you envision for yourself. That goal that you have, that vision that you have in your heart, that thing that inspires you or that you want to obtain is absolutely reachable. But do not put hard deadlines on success and goal obtainment. I know that can be difficult for us because we want things like yesterday. And not only do we want those things like yesterday, we want it to be cute and we want it to be in a bow and then we want to celebrate it. Baby, that ain't how life goes, right? You got to be willing to dive deep in the grit, to get uncomfortable, to know that failure is a possibility. As we talked about earlier, things are possible. They are absolutely possible. But do not forget, it takes time to birth something that is meaningful, sustainable, and purposeful for you and the people around you. So that's my 5 things here. As with all of my my podcast, I do like a post-podcast kind of thing. Here's the section of the podcast I like to call The Wise Counselor Unfiltered. It's real, it's raw, it's honest, it's gritty. You know what I'm saying? It's the 3 things that I want you to hear that I'm taking away from this podcast that I want to share with you. It's real, raw, and honest, like I said. So the first thing is, number 1, influence is shaping you whether you realize it or not. So choose wisely who you surround yourself with, what you choose to listen to, what you choose to watch, and what you choose to accept as truth, right? Influence is shaping you whether you realize it or not. Number 2, failure is not final. It's a setup for your comeback, right? Again, you might have a goal or something that you threw on the shelf or threw the towel into, and you might be saying it's over. But let me tell you this, you can recharge, you can get refreshed, you can try again. If at first you don't succeed, baby, like Miss Aaliyah used to say, dust yourself off and try again. And the last moment here is number 3. Growth doesn't come overnight. It's built with consistency and patience. I don't know who needs to hear that today. Ease into growth, right? It's going to come, but your responsibility is to remain patient and to remain consistent. And the things that are on your heart and in your mind and that align with your purpose, I guarantee there's no energy in the world that can stop that. Now, it might not be in the timing that you envision, but again, patience is the key. So here's the post-podcast homework assignments that I want you to think about today before you log off or sign off or whatever the case may be. I want you to reflect on this. Number 1, who or what has the strongest influence on you right now, right? And is that influence still helping you to grow? Number 2, where have you allowed fear of failure to stop you from trying? Or where have you allowed the fear of failure to stop you from trying again? All right. And the last post-podcast homework assignment is, I want you to think about this. What routines in your life need refreshing so that you can continue to grow? Come on now. What routines in your life need a refreshing so that you can continue to grow? All right, family, that's what I have for today. I hope that these motivational moments don't just go in one ear and out the other. I want you to take this podcast seriously, and I want you to reflect on it, and I want you to identify what you're going to carry with you from our time today, and then I want you to put something into practice. Don't sit here and listen to me for over 20 minutes and not commit to making some type of practical next step to put something into practice. Remember, there is no time like the present moment to reclaim yourself. Ease into yourself today. Take your time and keep moving. But at the end of the day, I want you to remember this. You are the only one who is in control of your own thoughts, your actions, and your reactions to what life throws your way. So step into your authority, baby, and live life for you. And as always, I want you to know that I love you. I absolutely believe in you, and that whatever you may be facing today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, whatever the case may be, I know that you've got it. Be well.